We are back. Sean and Spin in the Morning, episode 10. Back in the evenings this week for another edition, our Wednesday, May 7th day, presented by Off Base Media. Shawnee boy, how we doing, baby?
I'm feeling good. We got a couple new segments coming your way. Show's going to look a little different from here on out, but we think they're good changes. But we're, of course, getting started with our one and our favorite segment that Spin obviously crushes every time. Hard 90s, baby. Come on.
Everyone's favorite recap segment where we recap yesterday's games today in 90 seconds. I'm ready when you are, Sean. 90 seconds on the clock. Rip out my page here. Got my notes ready. And the time starts now. Okay, so there's a doubleheader in our nation's capital. Cleveland was in town. Washington took game 1, 10-9. Cleveland took game 2, 9-1. Game 1 was part of a late game comeback. That's going to be the theme today. We also had Philly and Tampa Bay. Philly took that one 8-4. Bombs from Schwarber, and he had 3 hits. Castellano had 3 hits and a bomb, and Alec Bombs, first bomb. Good for the Phils there. Texas at Boston. Brett Boone 1-0 as a hitting coach. Texas wins 6-1. Giolito got shelled. Okay. San Diego at the Yankees. Yankees tie the series. Jackson Merrill's back with the Yankees, tie the series. Today's a rubber match. Yankees win 12-3. Good for them. Houston at Milwaukee. Milwaukee takes that one 4-3. Chad Patrick, solid outing. Milwaukee goes for the sweep today. They were losing last time I checked. Okay, Baltimore at Minnesota. Minnesota wins 9-1. White Sox at KC. Another late game comeback. KC took it on a walk-off from Bobby Witt 4-3. Dodgers at Miami. Miami takes that one 5-4. Another walk-off there by Jesus Sanchez, bottom of the 10th. 5-4, they win via the walk-off. Cincinnati at Atlanta. Atlanta takes that one 2-1. Another walk-off. That was Ozuna in the bottom of the 10th. Sale looked good. San Fran at the Cubs. San Fran 14-5. They win a late game comeback by the Cubs, but then 9 runs in the 11th by San Fran to win that game. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. Libertor and Skeens pitching duel. Both quality starts, but St. Louis takes it over Skeens 2-1 there. Mets in the desert. AZ wins 5-1. Peterson not bad, but Gallen pitched better. A quality start. Toronto at the Angels. Angels win that one 8-3. Quality start. No decision for Tyler Anderson. And an 8th inning comeback for LA. 6 runs in the 8th. Seattle at the A's then. Seattle wins that one 5-3 to split the series there. You can stop me. And we have game 3 of that series today. That's going to be interesting in the West.
See, that was a beefy one. You put a lot of stats in that one. That was good. See,
that was trying to beef it.
Yeah, that was beefy.
And I think there was a rain delay too. Once some Rockies got PPD, so they have 2 today.
Yeah, but still, that's a good time for a beefy 90.
Not bad for me. I did put a lot of stats into it. I try to get some notes together and recap some, good chunks. But that's the theme, right, Sean? Is so we move to our vibe check here. I know we have some other things to say, but that is kind of the theme. Is there was a lot of late game comebacks and a handful of walk-offs, maybe like 4 walk-offs yesterday.
Yeah, so before we get into it, I know people have been tuning in before. We've kind of touched on every single game beforehand, and then went over tomorrow's slate as well. We are going to be going down to 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday's days are going to look a little bit more like the show you've known and come to love. We got some fans out there. But anyway, then we go into Wednesday, where you're going to be hearing a lot more of our opinions on certain things that we're seeing around the league, a lot more news-based things. But always going to have hard 90s, always going to have a vibe check and give you a little weekly recap as well. But Spin, let me hear what you're thinking about right now.
In terms of a vibe check, I mean, the one thing I want to talk about is the Minnesota Twins. Is it time for us to start talking about the Twins in a different light?
It is. I don't want to. But, I think we have to. Because, I mean, granted, you could say they're having, an Angels-esque run. But, I don't think the Angels have ever been this hot. You know what I mean? I don't know if they've ever put this much baseball together.
This is kind of the Twins team, and they're still under 500, mind you. They're still in 4th place. That division is still there's 3 teams with 21-plus wins in that division. So, they still have their work cut out for them, but they are 6-4 in their last 10. They've won some interesting series here and there. Who did they beat yesterday? I forget. I just fucking said it too. Totally forget. But they beat Baltimore 9-1. So that's a good series for them to come out and attack. They are kind of in attack mode. Now Royce Lewis comes back for them. So he was 0 for yesterday, but still that's a spark that they need. Buxton's playing really good ball. And those are the things that they need, first of all, when you talk offensively. And that's the things that I didn't like about them at first because I was like, they're always hurt. I think we all thought this. They're always banged up. And even when they play, it's not like Buxton, like, for as good as people think he is, he hasn't blown you out of the water historically, but now he's playing really good ball. Royce Lewis being back. And the other thing I didn't love is last year, they were a fourth-place team, but they were over 500 last year, barely. But I remember thinking, like, if this team's going to do anything, they need their pitching to not have ERAs of 4. I think almost everyone in that staff had an ERA of over or just under 4, like 3.96 type shit. Like, it was over or around 4 ERAs, including Pablo Lopez. But Pablo Lopez is pitching like an ace. Joe Ryan, his ERA, and he's pitching very well. They both have games this season with 11 Ks. Pablo had one yesterday. Now you have good outings from those two horses at the top of the rotation. The offense seems to be all right. They have some good supporting cast members. I think Correa had a homer yesterday. I mean, oh my gosh, things are kind of coming in fruition for them right now.
I know, and it's crazy that we're talking about them like this because I think both of us at the beginning of the season were like, why is everybody so high on the Twins? And granted, we're not talking about them like they're going to go contend for a World Series. We're just trying to talk about them like maybe we have to start giving credit where credit's due. Like, Byron Buxton right now is slugging .519. That's pretty damn good, dude.
For a guy who started out 0 for fucking whatever. Like,
exactly. And then like they've had a little. We have that veteran leadership in Carlos Correa, but then a little emergence of like guy like France batting .254 on the year. Then you get a little bit to one of the other guys, Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader. He's not too old, but people kind of forgot about him a little bit. Plays a good outfield and batting .280 on the year for them. So they have some notable guys, like you said, and now Royce Lewis is making his way back now soon. Did he start? Has he made his first start yet?
Yesterday was his first. He went 0 for 4 in Fenway, but yeah, okay. But still, the fact that he's back is
we both like Royce Lewis, but he's just injured all the time. But he's still a very notable player to talk about. And I mean, some of these teams that they're like we talk about how bad Baltimore is most of the time, but like they're still a solid team. I can't even say that about Baltimore anymore because that was actually going to be one of parts of my vibe check is, but we'll get to that in a second. But I do agree with you. Some of the pieces might be starting to fit for them, and we might have to start taking note of that and looking at them like maybe not this year, but maybe next year, them kind of having like a Tigers or an A's surprising season.
Yeah, for real. And I think everything I didn't like about them is now these guys are playing well. Like when you start to check off boxes of a good team, like, again, it's a weird division, but like you start to check out boxes of a good team. It's like, who are their superstars? Well, they're always hurt. Well, now they're not hurt and they're kind of playing well. And Royce Lewis is back. That gives you something. Correa, maybe even some veteran guys like a Ty France and a Bader you mentioned. They're starting to produce and they look pretty good. And now the top of the end rotation guys are pitching. Oh, geez. Like, I don't know about them, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if we jump out of our shoes, but certainly look at them in a different light as of like lately.
100%. One team that I was just talking about before, and I've touched on this in other episodes, but the Baltimore Orioles. I think that I'm going to say it right now. This is not the fans' fault for thinking this badly about for thinking wrongly about the Orioles. I'm blaming this solely kind of on the MLB. The MLB kind of wanted their golden boys, their golden team, and how they promote everything and stuff like that. And I get it, dude. They were young. They were fun. A lot of like Orioles stunk in the past, and they're finally starting to make some noise and stuff like that. But like I said, I think that most of these guys got tricked on us, that they're just not the stars that were promised. I'm not talking about Rutschman. I'm not talking about Henderson. Those two guys are studs. I know Rutschman's looked bad. Henderson's turning around, but I'm talking about a little bit of the other guys. Jackson Holliday, young. Maybe he turns it around and becomes a third. But, like, you think about, like, Westberg, who started off super hot this year. He's batting .217 right now.
And hurt.
Yeah, and hurt. You got Ryan Mountcastle. Now, he's not young, right? Hold on.
He's not old, but he's not young.
He's sitting around 28, so technically in his prime, right? 204. And I can't never pronounce this guy's name. The guy who tried to fight the entire Yankees organization.
Oh, Keston Herstad.
Yeah, 209. So, like, this team that was so young, fun, that everybody was getting so amped up about, maybe they're just more role players and were hot at the right time when the MLB started popping off in a sense.
I can see that. I think part of it, MLB does
MLB.
try to hype this shit up a lot, and we've seen it with like individual players. I've seen it. I mean, I thought that Bryce Harper fell under this trap because they need to promote guys, and then they make like the MLB makes guys overrated, and it's not the player's fault. In this case, you're making the claim that if they did it to the whole team. I actually think the organization is to blame because I don't think they got better in the offseason. And now we're really seeing it. Not to mention Colton Cowser being banged up too doesn't help them with Westberg. So Westberg didn't even get really the chance to get hot, and then he got hurt. Cowser wasn't hot, and then he got hurt, so that's why Hurstad's playing. But I mean, I didn't remember. I can't stress this enough. I say it a lot every time we talk about the Orioles. They don't have Corbin Burns anymore. They don't have Santander. Those are huge key contributors that were good last year, great last year even, and they actually got worse from 2023 to 2024 with those guys. Now they don't have them in 2025. So I think part of it, the organization didn't do a good job of trying to keep this team afloat for a long period of time. Who's to say that they can't find it this year? I know we're kind of waiting for that. I'm not saying that they're completely done and that their run is over. Who knows? They still do have young guys. That's the one thing they have going for them. But I mean, some of these young guys needed opportunities to get going, and then they got banged up. I think Holiday's looked better as of late. But I mean, I agree with you. I think you want to hype up this team because they're fun and sexy and they can sell tickets. And now it's like, what are we looking at? They're not looking at the same product that you're selling. So part of the organization to blame too.
Yeah. So just a quick stat going off that organization. They've had 21 pitchers pitch for them, not including the position players they've had pitch this year. How many guys do you think they have under a 3 ERA?
No one.
They have 4. 4 guys out of 21 who have pitched for them this year. All relief pitchers too.
Yeah, I was going to say they have to be relievers under that 3.
Yeah, and those relievers haven't even really pitched that much. I mean, it's not. They don't have a single starter under 3. They have Eflin who's sitting at a 3 and Sugano who's sitting at a 3 as well. But then Kremer 5.73, Povich 5.55, Morton 9.76, almost at a 10, and you get rid of Burns. I mean, like.
Here's a good stat for you to piggyback off the ERA stuff. Dag at the comments there. Yeah, I mean that's horrendous. A well over 5-team ERA, and guys like Morton was their big try to compensate for the loss of Burns. Sugano was like one of their big try to compensate for Burns guys. It's not going to do it. Maybe Eflin was too. Eflin's banged up. He was like the only promising guy. But I mean when you. Like there's teams that injuries are going to happen, fine, it's part of the game. But there's teams that have put themselves like the Dodgers have injuries, but look how deep they are. Dodgers might be a hard team to compare it against. But how about the Yankees though? With when Cole gets hurt, it's like thank God they went out and added depth to their starting rotation because Fried might be the best pitcher on the planet right now.
Yeah, and you can never have enough pitching, ever. Like you can't. I talked about it a little bit, like. Oh, is it a bad problem to have? No, I mean, it is a good problem to have, like with the Phillies, too. Ranger coming back. Now who gets bumped to the pen? Walker gets bumped to the pen. Oh, well, not a big fan of Walker, but he pitched well in the beginning. He did what he's supposed to do. Because they had the addition of Jesus Luzardo, and it had everybody scratching their head like, what are we doing? We know Painter's coming up this summer. Jesus Luzardo is looking like a Cy Young candidate right now, early. Yeah. So, it's just – a lot of things went wrong with how the Orioles kind of got started. It almost made us forget that these guys are so young and still barely played any MLB baseball compared to a lot of these other teams, especially in the AL East.
Yeah. Let me pick your brain about another AL team who's underperforming right now, and that's the Texas Rangers. They did win yesterday. That puts them back at 500. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, it puts them back at 500, so they're tied for Houston right now for third place. Brett Boone was announced the new hitting coach a few days ago. Yesterday was his first game as the hitting coach, and they did win 9-1. Now I don't know if that's directly Brett Boone thing. It's going to be too early to tell. We won't jump out of our shoes for that. But they also bring Evan Carter back up from AAA. Evan Carter was really good in that World Series run. Wasn't good last year. But now you start to see Jake Burger gets sent down. Carter comes up. They make an adjustment to their hitting coach. Is that the spark that Texas needs?
Yes and no. I mean, at the end of the day, these are veteran guys that are just not producing, and these vets really know. Like I don't know how much vets want to be coached to per se. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how much they have their ways, and I don't know how much they want that changed by a coach. What I will say is sometimes you need a shake up in what's going on. We saw it. I mean, I always talk about the Phillies because it's what I know best, but when they fired
Girardi,
they fired
Joe Girardi.
Girardi, and it completely redirected the team. Now maybe like a hitting coach switch is just a subtle adjustment, but granted, like you said, they brought Evan Carter up, who was great all those years ago. One guy we haven't given enough credit for is how good Wyatt Langford's been this year. He's been kind of holding that team's head above water and being the MVP of that team. So it's nice to see the young guys there. But like they just get Corey Seager back. And if you want to go off of the pitching, their pitching's been keeping them in it for the most part. Now I know Rocker and Leiter have been kind of taking turns going on and off the IL. Rocker hasn't looked that great, but Evaldi's sitting at right around a 2. DeGrom sub-3 at 2.6. Trevor Molly at a 1.19, who's looked unbelievable. Patrick Corbin stinks, but he's sitting at a 3.28. So pitching, they have the pitching, they have all the pieces. It's just, are they going to put it together?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And the Girardi one's a good example because it's like, they're not going to fire their key players. In the Phillies case, not going to fire Bryce Harper, right? They're not going to fire themselves. In this case, you're not going to fire Corey Seager. You're not going to fire the front office, ain't going to fire themselves. So something has to give. A lot of times that is a coaching thing when the team isn't living up to par. That change that is needed, especially when they think that the team should be better than what it is, right?
100%. And this team should be better than what they are.
Yeah, that's the case too with when it was with Philly. And we've seen it a million times. It's the case right now with Texas when they're not playing to the caliber that they should be. I mean, I think a lot of people have it as a first place team. When they're not playing to that caliber, something has to give. Some change has to be made. A lot of times that's the coaching staff. Now, I don't think they fire Bochy, especially since he came in his first year and won that World Series. But they didn't make the playoffs last year, and they're off to a rough start now. So, yeah, there are guys that haven't been living up to par. Some change has to be made. And to your point, I don't think Semien and Seager, Adolis Garcia, they've accomplished a lot already. Do they want to be coached? Sure, maybe not. But that's the thing with a hitting coach. That's going to be the biggest challenge for when a new hitting coach comes in. Because as a Yankee fan, you made the point with Girardi to your Phils. How about a few years ago, Sean Casey was announced as the hitting coach for the Yankees. And that's the biggest thing is that he's been talking about is, you're kind of learning from these guys. You're not trying to go in and tell Corey Seager how to hit, because what the fuck is that going to get you? But, if you can have these guys buy into you and be almost like a life coach and help these guys along the way, I think that goes, talk about approach, pick their brains, learn from each other. I think that's going to go a long way. And Brett Boone has had a pretty good career as a player. Aaron Boone's brother, obviously. So that's nice. And they need a spark. And if another change is bringing Evan Carter up, giving him more looks, then so be it. But we'll see how that continues to trend. And the last thing – go ahead. Sorry.
All right. No, go.
My last thing I think is going to transition to something about a weekly recap. But we talked about it a little bit. There was a lot of late inning comebacks, walk-off hits last night. I think I said there was 4. There was 3 walk-offs, but there was 5 total late inning comebacks. Crazy stuff. And a lot of those happened in the late night game. I was watching 4 games at once, on the MLB app, and every game was in the last inning, but the teams were making a comeback. It was very interesting shit.
It's just it's nuts because I think one thing we've done a bad job at, we've noted how bad these bullpens have been, but we haven't really been giving credit to some of the situational hitting of the hitters on the other side. It ain't easy to hit in the 9th when you're down. It ain't easy to hit at any time late in the game when you're down. You got to really focus and dial in. But with a mixture of how kind of the bullpens being lackluster and hitters just getting better, it's made for some exciting baseball, man. I mean, what I think the Marlins have walked it off three games in the past. I want to say past week. I feel like they've been walking off a lot of teams recently.
And they did it last night, too, against a good Dodgers team.
Exactly. Now that's a series split. I mean, Jesus Sanchez singled for that with the bases loaded in the 10th to give them the win. it's kind of cool to see these guys go up against these juggernauts and just kind of knock them down a peg. One thing I did want to touch on with you as well, we kind of got away from it. Oh, sorry. One more thing about the late inning. But how about the Giants just kind of laying pipe in the top of the 11th, 9 runs?
That was crazy. The Cubs scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to tie it and send it to extras. And then the Giants, talk about laying pipe, 9 runs in the 11th. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, you can never have enough insurance runs, but they were like, I feel like that's a little bit more of a statement. They're like, we want this more than you, and they did it in Wrigley. Like, that wasn't a home game. They did that shit in Wrigley.
Yeah, they really and good for the Giants too. They needed to get back on track, especially in that good division.
Mm-hmm.
Padres lost, Dodgers lost, so they gained some ground there. Diamondbacks also won, so yeah, another interesting division. So I think that's going to be a good series. I think that series is that split now. I don't even know.
Well, they're going today. I think their first game was on Tuesday.
Okay, so that was the first game of a very good series.
Yeah, they're actually going right now. Giants are up. Oh, let me fact check. No, you're right. Split. The third game's actually today. Giants are up right now.
Uh-oh.
But then another one we touched on it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the Rangers, how they won yesterday 6-1 to the Red Sox. What is going on in the AL East, man? It is kind of like the Yankees obviously just beat a good Padres team yesterday. That's a good statement win for them. Needed that, right? Gained some ground on the second place Boston. Boston just fell below 500 with that loss to Texas. I was big on Boston, and especially, like, I didn't know Alex Bregman was going to have this return to life at third base, right? And if you would have told me that before the season, I would have been ecstatic about how the Boston Red Sox would look, but they just don't look good right now. Devers has even looked Devers has become a little bit better, bringing his average up to 252. But they have the guys. They're just not doing it right now.
Yeah, and they even have the pitching too, you would think. Balos, I guess, pitches one of these days. Maybe he pitches today. And that's a good guy to kind of bring back, especially when Tanner Houck isn't doing his shit, but Crochet is. And you know what? Before the Boston even signed Bregman, I had them as a second place team because I wasn't.
Yeah,
I still had Baltimore making the playoffs, mind you, but I wasn't as high as most people on Baltimore. And I thought Boston had that momentum and that they were just a better organization. But I like them too. They are in second place, but they're a game under, only 2.5 back, so we won't get our panties in a bunch. But yeah, weird division. Yankees have been interesting. The Yankees lose today. They'd lose like 3 straight series. They'll still be in first, though. So it's a weird division, man. And I remember the big talk about Bregman before the season while everyone was talking about who plays second, who plays third, Devers, that controversy. Yeah. But before that, I mean, people like Bregman at Fenway because they like, oh, that monster is going to be good to his stroke. That was one of the conversations with Bregman, and he's proven it. He's proven it. So he's been really good. But there's a lot of guys in that team that have to wake up. Casas just gets hurt. So, not ideal for them. Giolito made his Fenway debut as a Red Sox yesterday. He's been signed by them for I feel like a few years now. He's just coming off injury, that monster injury. So you need Giolito to do well if you like them. You need Houck to do well if you like them, and they haven't been. So
yeah,
they got to figure it the fuck out.
So kind of staying on the trend of the late innings. Another that just an interesting series right now that's split actually. Seattle and the A's. What just a good series. They're in West Sacramento right now. Split down 1-1. Mariners put up 3 in the top of the 9th against the A's. I'm assuming Mason Miller was in. I don't know. Were you watching this one?
No, I wasn't. I didn't see the end.
So hold on one sec. He wasn't. Wait. Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't pitch for him yesterday. That's kind of surprising because you think they would throw him in that situation, especially with Seattle in town. You know, they're looking to gain some ground. But Cal Riley kind of started off the scoring in the top of the 9th, and he's just been playing out of his mind. Like the Mariners, we already stated it before we're going to start giving them some credit. But we can't say enough about the A's. But just another interesting one that was happening in the second one is Zach Gallen kind of coming back to life here, especially against the Mets. We love that, him coming back for the Mets. Perfect timing, if I could say so myself. Mets are always going to Met. Zach Allen, we knew he was a good pitcher. We knew that it wasn't going to be like this forever kind of thing. He's too good. I appreciate Zach Allen because he's kind of that old school kind of guy. Not going to blow anything by you, but he's going to pinpoint. He's going to locate. 101 pitches yesterday, crossed 7, only 1 earned and 6 Ks while walking 3. So good, solid outing. Maybe we look for him to start bouncing back a little bit.
Yeah, and Gallen, that's his second straight start against the Mets. Remember that one was in Queens a week ago. So, yeah, his 3 wins on the year, and 2 of those wins came in back-to-back starts, both of them against the Mets in 13 innings against them, 2 earned in those back-to-back starts. So good. Love to see Gallen start coming back, and that was one of the big things with Arizona was that, and especially in a good division, their pitching hasn't been up to par. Gallen was one of those guys. We'll see if Burns can turn it around, but right now Gallen has. And the other thing with Mason Miller, I guess he wasn't available out of the pen yesterday. He pitched the day before, so I guess you're a little conservative with him. But
yeah, I guess
that is the best series of the week so far because before yesterday's loss for the A's, before they lost yesterday, they were 1 game out of first. If they would have won yesterday, they would have been tied for first place. Now, if they win today, they'll be 1 game out again with the Seattle. So I don't know if anyone had Seattle and the A's competing for first place come early May.
And especially if the Rangers just go in and absolutely beat the brakes off of Boston. I mean, that's going to make it a really interesting season. Because I'm pretty sure the Astros lost yesterday.
They did, but I thought they were winning last time I saw them because they had an earlier.
Yeah, they won today 9-1. Brewers against Brewers.
Good. So that's a statement. That puts them at 500. So if they would have lost, they would have been under 500 with Seattle and the A's going against each other. That's a scary thought. But if Texas wins, they'll gain a ground on. They'll be over Houston, and they'll be third place by themselves if they win.
Yeah, and I think a good topic that we've always been on is we're going to keep an eye on the AL West because it's just going to keep getting more interesting.
I agree. And with Texas today, they have Tyler Mahle on the mound.
Beautiful. Cy Young right now. Cy Young. Minus maybe Fried, but he's pitching. He's pitching insanely good. So yeah, kind of what we want to touch on a little bit is that's more so what the Wednesday weekly recap is going to look like a little bit. Going over kind of the shockers over the past 2 days, some interesting topics to touch on. As you can see, it's a lot more brief. Hit the little hard 90s, talk a little bit more in depth because on Mondays we're going to try to talk about the whole series that are upcoming, kind of like we do on our Friday shows.
Love it. Should we plow through? See who's making some money in the off season, this upcoming off season.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So, one of I think he might be my favorite ESPN writer. I always can't say his last name.
Jeff Passan.
I always want to say Paisan.
So do I.
He released a article on who he thinks is going to be basically set to get paid over the next couple of years. He talked about some young guys. He talked about some older guys. So he has these people in the 100 million category right now. Some notable people to point out. Pete Alonso, who I think we all know. He's playing at an MVP caliber level. Not really too shocking. But one person that he did touch on, he's got Framber Valdez in this list. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain about that a little bit, Spin, because we both know Valdez has not looked good that good this year, but we know he's been an ace in the past. So do you think the Astros or another team kind of takes that chance on him and gives him that $100 million, or do you think it's going to be a little bit tougher for him?
That's a really good question. I think he's pitching today, Valdez. Oh, he pitched today, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he must have got a win.
Well. He looked well. He looked good today.
My thing's taking a while to refresh here, but Valdez is an interesting one because he's been like a king of consistency over the past few years. He's been their ace. So he has a ring and shit. Like they looked at him to be a guy. Now, the way Houston is going right now, it's almost like in the past they've brought in older pitchers. Think about a Greinke, a Cole, a Verlander, but they've developed young offensive guys. It seems like right now it's the same thing but different. It's different but same, right? Because they're bringing in the Paredes and the Christian Walkers of the world to fulfill their offense, and now they're looking to guys like a Hunter Brown, especially, or a Hayden Wesneski, or whatever the fuck they got, to kind of be the young arms now. So that it's the same principles, but now that they're developed, the young guys that they're developing are pitchers. So if that trend continues, maybe they don't want Valdez, especially if he doesn't turn it around right now. Even though he looked good today, 7 strong and 1 earned and a win in Milwaukee to avoid the sweep. So he looked good, but all in all, this year has not been great. How old is he, by the way?
He's got to be getting up there. Sorry.
That's going to have something to do with it too.
Sorry, I was scrolling through a little bit to talk about my next one, but I don't know if he had. Yeah. So next opening day, kind of when he's going to be signing this contract for, he's going to be 32. So
maybe pitchers have they age differently, I guess. Longevity from a pitcher a little differently. And he's a lefty, if that's sexy. The good thing about if the Astros were to re-sign him is I don't know if they would look at him to be an ace, because with what Hunter Brown is doing. So it's like, okay, we'll just have like a lefty as like our 2 guy or some shit like that. You won't have to look at him to be an ace. It would just be more of like a depth piece. But again, why would you spend all that money for a depth piece if you have a young Hunter Brown who maybe you want to invest more in? So the fact that he isn't coming out and being like an ace, and you don't have like a Valdez and Hunter Brown, that would be an Astros wet dream. If both of those guys were aces at the top of the rotation, the fact that he kind of has been a little more up and down more now than ever, maybe they don't like that trend. Maybe they just rather invest in a younger Hunter Brown and then say, don't re-sign Framber after this year.
I'm glad you brought up Hunter Brown, because I kind of put an asterisk next to his name because he has him in the $100 million list for this the next time he goes around to get a contract. I think he's going to be making more, honestly. I'm saying he's getting up to he's going to be one of those guys with the 200, 300. Right now, he looks incredible. He's got if he can keep up what he's got going on. We said he looked good last year and he looks great this year. So he's trending in the right direction. But can Hunter Brown keep it together to make more than that $100 million? Or do you think he kind of plateaus and it's just going to be kind of getting, $100 million is nothing to shrug off. You know what I mean? But will he get paid like those superstars?
Yeah, and I don't even know how superstar pitchers get paid. That's another thing to look at. They get paid a little differently since they pitch. They play in like 31 games a season if they're really good. Like the good ones play in 31 games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know who the top pitcher salary wise is.
Well, it's technically Shohei, but it's Shohei pitching. You know what I mean? So it's a little iffy. Hold on, I have it pulled up. Zach Wheeler's getting $42 million a year. DeGrom's getting $37 million a year. Snell's getting $36. So it tends to teeter around that right there, basically.
I think if you're Houston, even if Brown comes back down to earth in like the second half, right now let's say he has a really good first half. He's pitching like an all-star. He makes the all-star team. And then he just becomes okay. But right now, okay to him is still really good. Like he's still top of the line arm. I think you still would rather invest because you're not going to get 2 of those types of pitchers. I don't think if you're Houston.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to do both of those things, especially when they're in a position right now where maybe it's a little bit of a rebuild for them to try to get back on top. So if they want to clear up some spot in the rotation, they only sign one of those guys. Hunter Brown is pitching better right now. He's the younger arm. I would rather put that money on Hunter Brown and then Valdez goes elsewhere.
So another guy that it's kind of like, how much is he going to get paid? This is a lot what I picked up on for the 100 mil category that he has here. Adley Rutschman. So I'm very big on Adley. Hasn't looked great this year. Lackluster last year. I know you have a different opinion over him, and you've kind of proven to be right over the past 2 years. Now, so for Adley, he says he's kind of started out where he was going to be in that 300 mil category. Last year, he brought it down to 200 mil, and now he's looking like it's going to be the 100. Granted, keep in mind, he did make a note here, which I do appreciate. The largest catcher contract ever was Joe Mauer for 184, and right now it's JT sitting at 115. So I'm not too shocked by this take. I kind of agree because he's been trending downwards ever since he came into the league.
So you agree that he shouldn't get that?
He shouldn't get the big money. The 100, yeah. I believe that any team that can pay that, like somebody else will pay Adley Rutschman that just on potential alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. So Rushman will be 28 after this year. So I don't know if that's as young as people think he is. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's old really. But if he's supposed to be in his prime this year and last year, I mean, geez, like I don't fucking know what to tell you. But yeah, I think he will get paid because his name is Adley Rutschman, and people are probably still going to jump out of their shoes for him. I don't even know what he's hitting right now, but he will pick it up over the season.
It's like
but
216 right now.
216. He won't hit 216 forever. But yeah, I mean, a 28-year-old switch hitting catcher. There's still some sex appeal there, and his name is Adley Rutschman, so he will get paid. He will get. I don't think there's any qualms on his defense, but I don't think he's a top. I wouldn't look. He's a top 10 catcher, I think, regardless. I wouldn't look at him as like a top 2 or even a top 5 catcher. So I would have to do that. I would think you have to weigh out your options accordingly. And call a spade a spade. I think you have to be realistic on what Rutschman has been doing lately. But at the same time, he will get paid, whether people like it or not.
So also just some notable people to list off here that he has. He's got Hunter Green on here. Problem is with Hunter Green, like he might be making more, but by the time his next contract term rolls around, he's going to be 30. So that's just something to take a note here. He also has PCA on this list, which I think is kind of interesting because PCA, you're going to pay for his glove alone, right? Nobody thought he would hit this well at all. And granted, like PCA's got the swagger. He's damn near becoming a face in this league. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think I touched on this before. Both of his parents were actors.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know who the hell they were, but both of his parents were actors. And, like, I think he's slowly, like, creeping up his way with that swagger and everything. The MLB is going to try to make him a face of this league. I'm thinking he's going to get paid a lot more than just $100 million.
It's just going to be interesting to see how the Cubs go about it if they plan on keeping him, which I feel like they do. Kyle Tucker's on a 1-year deal right now, so Tucker's a huge part of this team because Tucker's a little different than a PCA. But I think both of their skill sets matter greatly for this Cubs team that is picking it up. So I think you're going to put a lot of money in a PCA, put a lot of money in a Kyle Tucker to maybe try to keep him. It's going to be interesting to see how they go. But PCA we'll see how he continues to trend. I mean, he's shown that he could probably be a 5-tool guy. I don't know if anyone knew the power and ribby stuff, but he's batting in an area of this lineup that allows him to get a lot of ribbies, and the power's been there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move on to the second section of this, where it's the 200 mil club, basically. Like he's got some notable guys in here who are kind of like no-brainers. He's got, Spencer Strider, Christian Campbell over at the Red Sox, who's looking like the rookie of the year, almost in like an all-star. I know he's hurt. Same with Strider, he's hurt right now, but like if Strider comes back and looks anything like his old self, he's gonna be a top pitcher in this league for a long time. You know what I mean? But then his number one person on this list, this is unbelievable to me. It's O'Neal Cruz. When the fuck has the Pittsburgh Pirates ever paid $200 million for a player?
It wouldn't be them, I guess.
I guess he's not thinking that because there's no way they pay O'Neal Cruz. They're going to have to pay Skeens. Like, if they let Skeens walk, I think the Yinzers out there in Pittsburgh are going to burn down the PNC Park.
I don't think they'd let Skeens walk. I think that he just wouldn't want to sign with them.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe he's kind of taking that in the note here. But, like, what has O'Neal Cruz done to be paid $200 million? His glove might be the worst. They had to move his position. He don't hit like Tatis. Tatis moves position, still deserves that money. O'Neal Cruz does not hit like Tatis.
It's going to be very pivotal to see what O'Neal Cruz does this year. Now, people don't look at batting average very heavily, but if he could be, he will put Heinies in seats, so it could be a good investment. People like to watch him play because he does everything. He's a stat cast guy. You know what I mean? Like he'll run fast, he'll throw the ball hard, he'll hit the ball like with the exit velo that he has. Like he's a stat cast guy that people want to see at a ballpark. But I don't think he's worth that. I agree with you. Now it's going to be pivotal to see what he does this year. If he becomes a 30-30 guy, which isn't crazy to think, he could very well hit 220 and be a 30-30 guy. So no one's going to value batting average the way that we probably do on the show. but maybe his on base is something. Maybe they see some coachable things, and that they can help him get his on base percentage up because you got to get on base to swipe bags, right? So if they see him as a good center fielder, I don't think maybe right now center field is more deep than what it once was, but it's not like crazy. Like who's the best center fielder in baseball right now?
Probably PCA.
Okay, who's two?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's not, and I like guys like Bleday and Victor Scott, but they're not like that.
They're
So maybe
leverage guys. They're role players.
Yeah, they're like, and maybe they see a little bit more of a,
Oh, you're forgetting about your favorite player in the league, dude.
Not Bellinger. Who?
The grandson of the wind.
Oh, Jung Hoo. Yeah. He's locked up though. But yeah, another really good center fielder. But there's the thing. It's like, how many of those center fielders do we that off the top of our heads? Even Buxton plays a good center, but I don't know if any of them are like could have or 20-20, maybe even 30-30 guys.
Yeah,
I guess PCA maybe could be, but O'Neal Cruz at least teeters in that conversation. Maybe.
But the underlying thing with all these center fielders is they play a lot better. Like if he wants to get this, he does. He has to hit that 30-30, and he's got to make the transition to right field. And with Brian Reynolds there, he's not moving to right field anytime soon.
That's another thing. Maybe teams see him as athletic enough to get out of center, like get his bearings in the outfield on a shitty Pirates team this year, be in center, and then if he comes over, he has the arm for right field. Maybe they want to make him that. There's a lot of good right fielders though, so it's also going to matter what team can pay him that, and also needs a right fielder. It seems like all the good teams do have a good right fielder, but still, we'll see. I think people could see him as a star and a StatCast guy, a guy who puts asses in seats. So that's good for him, but it's going to be pivotal this year. He has to be a 30-30 guy, at least a 20-20 guy, which he might have been last year. But he has to really trend up in the power department, really trend up in the stolen base part because he gets talked about like he fucking is.
Yeah, that was shocking to see for me. But moving on, since we're talking about outfield, actually everybody in his 300 million club, he's got James Wood, Wyatt Langford, and Jackson Churio, all young guys who I don't have any qualms with any of the names I just listed getting that kind of money.
I don't either, but again, it's we'll have to see how these guys trend. Churio seems to be that way, and it'd be good if Milwaukee, if they want to stay afloat, to have a big name motherfucker like that. They need a guy. He could be that guy. We'll see what Texas does with Langford and how he continues to roll. I don't know if Langford is that good, but he's been really good.
I mean, it's his second year, and on a team full of guys who are supposed to be stars on that Rangers team. I mean, I guess not full, but there's supposed to be guys that are quote unquote better than Langford, and he's playing like the all-star right now.
Yeah, so that's good to see. We'll see how he continues to roll.
So kind of some notable people here. The $500 million club.
Woo.
First name on the list, Kyle Tucker.
He needs to get paid, man.
Yeah. With Kyle Tucker, I think the only thing that doesn't get him this money, I guess, you know what? He'll be getting this contract at 29. I guess he's supposed to. Did he sign a 1-year deal with the Cubs?
Yeah.
So do you think that's a one-stop shop for him?
Do a little Soto, what Soto did to the Yanks, lead him to a deep playoff run, and then get his money elsewhere?
At
least the Cubs aren't in terrible shape in that outfield if PCA continues to emerge. And if they are going to pay PCA 6-figure or nine figures, then holy shit, then or 7 figures, 7. If they are going to give PCA that, then maybe they don't want 2 guys, all that in that outfield. Maybe they invest a little bit everywhere else, even though they are pretty good, but they could always do more to a pitching staff or a bullpen, or maybe get a few other guys, put Seiya back in that outfield, because they have options in Chi-Town, so it's not the end of the world. And then it's going to be a matter of who wants to sign Tucker for that much. And right now he's making a case as to why he should be.
So there's 2 more people on this list.
Really quick.
Yeah.
If for fantasy rankings, Tucker was ahead of Soto on the fantasy. So he has more tools than Soto, and you saw Soto's last contract. I think Tucker brings more to the table.
I think it was a little bit I look at Kyle Tucker because was on those Astros teams, kind of making deep runs and stuff, as a little bit older. But granted, he came into the league a little young, so he's proven to be great. And the fact that they're going to be giving that at 29, The Phillies just paid Trey Turner, and he was like in his, I'm pretty sure 30s, wasn't he? Or was he 29?
Maybe
Probably
like
around
20,
28.
maybe like 28, but that was a bad contract.
Yeah, it was a very bad contract. Hey, we're gonna see Turner out there with his walker at one point for the Phils. But two more people on this list. Another person in the 500 million category is I don't agree with this at all. It's Ellie De La Cruz, another guy who kind of gets force fed to us a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ellie De La Cruz bad? No, not by any means. Is he $500 million worthy? No. Should he be getting shoved down our face every day? No. Should he be on the cover of the show? No.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, I'll go on that. Maybe. But he's good. He's electric. He does a lot. Like when he came into the league, I remember it clear as day. That week or like 2 week span he was on, it was like one of the most ridiculous runs we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think with the show they look for like spark plugs because you got to remember Javi Baez made the cover one year.
Yeah, but Javi Baez was also like the greatest player. Like
he was fucking sick.
Right?
He was cool as shit. But I think people look at Ellie as like he's cool too. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he makes errors at short. I don't know if he's great defensively, but maybe he figures it out. He's still young. I think he has a lot of tools. Another StatCast guy though. Like he'll put heinies in seats. He's a exit. What's it called? Exit velo or whatever the fuck it is. But what's it called? Exit velo or
like coming off the bat, like
whatever he does. Yeah, like he's big with with those StatCast numbers, and he runs like a deer. What did he have, like 60 something stolen bases last year? Like he's incredible. Those things. I don't know, and if the Reds are going to sign him, then that's a statement by the Reds because every good team needs a dude, and he is the dude to the Reds. And he's still young, so maybe you invest a lot in him. Now, could that, if say the Reds do that, I don't think it's an awful decision. Maybe that's a lot of money, but maybe if they still pay him a fuck ton and it's not 500 mil, whatever the fuck we're on, if it's but still it's a lot. That could still either way it could turn out to like not be good in the long run. But for right now, they're looking to make deep playoff runs, and they have a bunch of young guys. They need a face. He would be the guy. He would be like the main guide as to who their face is.
So a good thing to note about this is he won't be a free agent until the 29-30 season, and he'll actually be 28 at that point. So right in his prime, these next couple of years to get that though, he's gonna have to play like the MVP.
Yeah, so Passan has him trending way up. And he got MVP votes last year. He has to keep that up. And if he can continue to kind of get MVP, I'm not saying he has to finish top 3 every year, but if he gets like a top 7 finish, a top 5, maybe he finishes top 2 one year, and now by the time 2028, 2029, or 29-30 rolls around, maybe he's set to make that big lead. And maybe he can also help lead them on a deep playoff run for the first time in 5 ever.
I mean, we'll see. I don't think so, but well, it's all we're all playing a guessing game right now with Ellie. I know he's so electric and a lot of people's favorite player to watch. But next on this list, team we talk about a lot, $600 million is what's on the table. Who do you think it is, Spin?
600 mil. When's he a free agent?
He will be a free agent in the 2020. I'll give you some hints. 2028, he will be a free agent. He'll be 27 years old. He plays infield. And let me give you one more.
Bobby Witt Jr.
No, close.
Gunnar.
Yeah, Gunnar. He's got Gunnar on here making 600 mil.
Wow. But hey, every good team, you can't stress this enough, every good team needs that guy, needs a guy. He is that guy to Baltimore.
I guess what we didn't put into perspective earlier, kind of with the PCA and the Adley stuff, is we didn't think about the other people they were going to have to pay on their roster. You know what I mean? Like PCA with Kyle, if the Cubs end up going after Kyle Tucker, that's going to take into account. If the Orioles go after Gunnar, what do they do with Adley, in a sense? You know what I mean? Like you can't. I mean, yeah, you could do it, but like, damn, you would really be hoping for World Series after World Series, but. Yeah. I don't hate this that lot. I'm a big fan of Gunnar.
You got to defer those contracts like the Dodgers. Defer.
Yeah, exactly. I we'll see what happens with that, but god damn. And that's it. That's it for the list, man. I think there's some pretty interesting and notable people. What's really cool to see about this list is all the young talent we have coming up in this league.
It's the young talent, and it's also a lot of those guys seem to be 5-tool players. 20 at the very least 20-20 guys. Some could be 30-30 if they haven't already. Like Tucker flirts with 30-30 seasons when healthy. PCA, we'll see it this year what he does. Gunnar was a 20-20 guy last year with like 30 bombs. And whoever fuck else we named. Like a lot of those guys. So it's weird to see Soto, who's not going to swipe those bags. He gets paid that way because his name's Juan Soto. So your name has something to do with it. And these guys tend to bring more to the table than Soto, even though, hey, I'm going to respect Soto. He had a home run today. But it's not like he's like a 5-tool player. He's maybe like a 2 or 3-tool player. And he got that money. So who's to say that Gunnar doesn't turn it around in a few years and he can bring all that stuff to the table, plus being a shortstop is sexy. Hey, let's go to the comments really quick. This was from when we were talking about Rutschman.
You think would they pay him? You think?
I hope they don't. Because I don't like him, and I like Austin Wells. And then how about this one? Rowdy Tellez deserves to get paid. That's a live update too. A 3-run homer, 5-4 A's.
Rowdy Tellez is gonna. Rowdy Tellez might turn in. He's fat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like we lost Danny Burgers. Like maybe we can start using Rowdy Tellez as the new, like we need to see Rowdy Tellez leg out a triple. And then we can start talking.
I love it. He's a little older too, so I think that's a joke. But I love the live updates of the 5-4 A's. I want to see the A's kind of win here. I do.
Why? I do too.
All right. We did our MVPs, a week ago?
Yeah.
And then MLB put out their list of MVPs, I think, earlier this week. I think there's some things that we like and dislike about their list. So let's pull their lists up here. This is the AL side first.
So the AL side, the first thing I noticed is I think we talk about all the top 4 of them very highly, right? They've been Aaron Judge obviously is unbelievable. I think he should be getting somewhere close to Barry Bonds treatment with how he's hitting the freaking baseball. In my eyes, he's like probably going to go down as top 3 of the best right-handed hitters of all time. Like I think it's unbelievable. Bobby Witt, electric, doing great things for Kansas City. Bregman, we talked about already, unbelievable. Cal Riley, I think leading the league in home runs, or tied for leading the league in home runs, doing great things over for the first place Mariners. But then I get to Jose Ramirez, and like I don't even think he's the best player on his team right now.
Who is?
Steven Kwan.
Steven! We
Like,
love Steven Kwan.
I that's what I can't understand for the 5th one there. Like there's just more notable people to me. Now, granted, he's not having like a bad year. He's batting .271 on the year, 5 home runs with 17 ribbies. I mean, it's not bad. It's good. It's all-star level. I don't think it's MVP level.
I agree. And J-Ram always enters the chat for these, and I still really love J-Ram. You have to love J-Ram.
Sorry. I didn't make note of that. I'm a huge J-Ram fan.
Yeah. Everyone likes J-Ram. It's tough to. He's an impossible guy to hate. But yeah, I do agree. Steven Kwan. When we did our thing, and then me and Dag even did our like top 3 MVPs, and me and Dag both had. Actually, we just did MVPs in general. I think whatever we did, but we both had Judge and Witt 1, 2. Bregman definitely deserves some love. When we talked about it, we definitely had those 3. I don't know if maybe we gave Riley an honorable mention when we did it. Yeah. I haven't talked about him in that light yet, and I certainly haven't talked about J-Ram. But one of the guys we both mentioned when we were doing this a week ago was Steven Kwan. I do think he's been the better guardian. So if you're going to make a list and have a guard, if you were to actually put this up as like a blind ranking, and you just gave me the teams and not the player, I would have thought that Cleveland guy would have been. My first guess might have been Kwan, just based on the numbers alone.
Yeah, and that's why I'm a little like, kind of like, what's going on? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And plus, like, where's the love for like a Jorge Polanco, man?
I don't know if he's been the better Mariner, right?
Yeah, he's been the better Mariner. I don't know if they have him DHing this year or he's playing a little infield at third base. He's been .356 on the year with 9 home runs and 27 RBIs.
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve to be on that list. Like I'm assuming because it's the Guardians, they're kind of giving him love because they're in first place. So are the Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I mean, you want to give J-Ram love. I think when it's all said and done, he could very well make another top 5 MVP case for himself. He does it every year. But yeah, with Riley, you like to see it because they're valuing home runs a lot. But again, if you value home runs a lot, I love Cal Riley. I do think he's incredibly valuable. But Polanco has been too, and that's the biggest thing is you got to look at Polanco's home run numbers because the average maybe is a little misleading. Just because I know he was hurt for a little bit, maybe he doesn't play every day. They kind of have a rotation going. He's making a damn good case for himself as to why he should fucking play every day if he doesn't already. But for a while, he was kind of going like maybe sitting out like every third day or some shit like that. Then he got banged up. But so maybe the average is like a little skewed just because he doesn't have as many at bats as some guys, but he still has the home runs that compete with pretty much everybody on this list. So that's the crazy thing. I agree with you. Polanco has been a huge, I mean, not that Riley hasn't, but Polanco has been an enormous reason as to why they're a first place team. Again, I'll give Cal Riley his credit. If anything, I would put Polanco where Riley is, and then if you needed a fifth guy, maybe then you pull out Cal Riley for the 5 spot, or don't forget Stephen Kwan either.
Yeah, it was just kind of shocking to me to see like those guys on there, but then you don't talk about
Jacob Wilson.
Yeah, what the hell? Or Tyler Soderstrom.
Bring up an A, yeah. I agree. I think Soderstrom has since he's fell off a little bit, but
Jacob Wilson.
But I mean, I would bet that Soderstrom and J-Ram's numbers are almost identical. Maybe Soderstrom is still a little bit better.
Yeah, or what about like some of the Tigers, man? Like I think we talked about Kerry Carpenter the other day, 295 with 8 home runs and 19 RBIs, very similar to what Jose Ramirez is doing. You know, like I have a feeling this is ESPN, right?
This is MLB.
I have a feeling what they're doing is they're betting that a lot of these other guys are going to fall off and that he's just going to keep rising, J-Rom, which I agree with.
I agree.
Right now, there's better people than Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to go right now, well, here, let me see something. Does it say at the bottom something? May
2025.
It says as of like per May 2025. So it's like I don't know. I think there's guys that had a better month of April. If this is basically just April and maybe the first few days of May, last 2 or 3 days of March, whatever the fuck it was. If we're just going off that very little bit, I think there's guys having better seasons than J-Ram as well. Riley, they're going to value home runs. Fuck it. Mm-hmm. He's a Gold Glove catcher who switch hits and hits fucking tanks. Okay.
I know. What we also have to think, I mean, Cal Riley's 246, 12 home runs and 25 RBIs. He also plays probably the most important position on the field. Like, I think he deserves to be in there.
Top 5 though. So if you take J-Ram out and then you have guys like Polanco and Kwan and whoever else we didn't name.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think like AL's kind of lacking star power wise. I'm gonna be honest. There isn't really a whole lot of people right now that you can talk about.
Yeah, like who's a dirty dog? I mean, we talk a lot about those A's guys. Yeah, I mean, it's not like Seager's playing at that level right now. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. That's why I like those Tigers are good because they're first, like same with Seattle or the A's or the Tigers. Like these are sneaky teams that are playing at a high level right now. I guess Cleveland is too, but I do think Kwan is the better one.
Yeah.
But when you talk about valuable, like that's going to matter. Okay, then we go to the NL side. Now I do think when we did our list, when me and Dag did it, I actually had Tatis as my number 3, but we did everybody. So we both had Judge and Witt. Then I had Tatis, if we're just going in general. And then Dag had the same thing except Corbin there. I know you were high on Corbin. We're both high on Tucker as well. You think you had Pete in your list. I don't think I had Pete on my personal list, but he deserves to be top 5. We didn't go 5 though. So he deserves to be 5.
We did 3.
Okay. So he deserves to be 5. But Ohtani for me at the time was an honorable mention. They have them at the number 3 spot.
Yeah. So I think we both agree on this. Is the first thing I'm going to touch. I would rearrange this whole list. I would not have Tatis number 1. I'd probably have Kyle Tucker. Or no, sorry. I would rearrange the list. I'd probably put Tucker 1. I want to say Corbin Carroll 2, but like their record. I mean, granted, like if you pull Corbin Carroll off the Diamondbacks right now, they are way below 500. Like way below 500. The NL is much harder to gauge than the AL because it is so much more up in the air. Like, let's think about it. Tucker on a great team, Tatis on a great team, Shohei on a great team, Alonso on a great team. Corbin Carroll on the Diamondbacks, which is a good team, just not playing like it. And he's been the only reason they have their head above water right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think you can make a case for for some of these guys to be number one. I do have Tatis number one, but if you make a case for Kyle Tucker to be number one, I'm with you. I mean, he came into this. I don't know last time the Cubs made the playoffs. It's probably when Rizzo and shit was there. So the fact that he came in and there's an immediate turnaround. Now, granted, there's other pieces involved, but Tucker is the big guy, and he was one of the biggest guys in the offseason. Now he's playing like it early. So you can make a case for Kyle Tucker number one. I have Tatis though one.
All right, so you would still rock with Tatis at one.
Yeah.
Okay, I listen, all of these guys to me are very interchangeable. Pete has been the best player on that team, and I'm going to be honest. Like, I hate Pete Alonso because he's a Met, but I'm happy to see him kind of getting some love up here because I feel like not a lot of people have been talking about Pete Alonso at all.
I like to see him. It's nice that MLB put him at 2 after he had a kind of a miserable offseason. Remember, he was like late. He had coming off a down year. He didn't even have that bad of a 2024, but people kept calling it a down year. And he didn't. It took him a while to get re-signed. Kind of got re-signed almost at the buzzer. And now he comes in and he's just like, I think he's coming like all pissed off, like, and he's just saying, fuck it. Like, I didn't like the net. For me, it felt like there was a narrative in the offseason that Pete Alonso needed the Mets more than the Mets needed Pete Alonso. That's how I felt and as an outsider looking in. And now Pete's come in and really been like, no, you motherfuckers need me. I deserve to get paid big time. Here's why. And he's doing it. So it's good to see Pete doing it. He's been the best player on a first place team.
So another thing I want to touch on, for Shohei to be on this list, right? He's only playing DH right now. That takes a lot of it out for me. To be a DH, you have to be putting up the numbers. Now, granted, he had a historical season last year. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what you have to do when you're a DH. You have one job, and okay, he's doing his job. But, like, you pull him off the Dodgers, they still have Teoscar Hernandez who's playing unbelievable. Freddie Freeman's batting over. What's up?
Teoscar got banged up, but I'm with you.
Yeah, he's playing unbelievable. You have Freddie Freeman who's batting over 300, I'm sure right now. Like, you have the other guys on that team, and I'm not taking away because, I mean, of course, this is the clip that's going to go viral, and I'm going to get ripped apart. But, like, dude, Ben Verlander the other day posted a video of him hitting a pop-up. He was like, that's the highest pop-up I've ever seen hit. Dude, it's a flat. He made an out. It was a routine pop-up.
I think he's like our glorious king. That's MLB's glorious king, Shohei Ohtani. Come on, you can't disrespect the king.
Like, I don't know who I would in turn replace him with, if I'm being honest, because a lot of these guys who are come up behind him are all around the same and probably not as good. Like, you have, I mean, if Cal Riley's on there for the other one for the home runs, then you got to talk about Schwarber. Schwarber's sitting at 12 bombs right now, I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? Someone's throwing him the same type of love.
Before, if Teoscar wasn't hurt, now I don't think Teoscar was hurt when they posted this, but I actually think Teoscar's probably been the best Dodger so far. He was leading the league in ribbies, hitting 421 his last 7 days, 34 fucking ribbies before he gets hurt with 9 bombs. The thing that I don't love with Ohtani, and I know he leads off, so he doesn't get the ribby opportunities as like a Teoscar in like the 3 or 4 hole, but 10 homers for Ohtani and 15 ribbies. He does have 3 homers in his last 7 games, so he's been waking up. But 15 ribbies on 10 homers, like, I want to see a little bit more out of that, especially if we're talking MVP shit. Now, granted, the average is climbing with him, and he's only going to continue to slay. I mean, he has 10 homers and 10 stolen bases. I don't know anyone else who, as of May 7th, is in the 10-10 club. So he's going to do all that stuff and more. I still think when we did this and we gave our top 3, Ohtani was an honorable mention for me. So that had him at 4. I would probably still have him at 4 just because, like you say, if you take him off if you talk about valuableness and he's just playing one position and he's just DHing, so he's not even playing the field, right? And all those good points you made, if you take Ohtani off the Dodgers, they're still a good team. I don't know if you could say the same thing without Tucker on that team. So I'd probably put Tucker at 2, maybe Pete at 3. Maybe then I put Shohei at 4 or 5 with respects to Corbin Carroll at the other position. So I do think he gets bumped down a tick. If the only reason to have Ohtani on this list, yes, he's playing well. The numbers are there to put him in conversation. But if he's only reason why he's number 3 is because his name is Shohei Ohtani, I'm just not in on that right now.
Yeah, granted, like, listen, I hate pushing this narrative because what he does is incredible. Like, he is a generational talent, paid the most money ever in baseball history, done things that nobody has done. But like, we're saying to right now, you can't just put his name in this list above guys just because of who he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. How about this though? Say Ohtani does come back late in the season, second half, and he makes like 10 starts, and he say all these guys on the list, Tucker, Corbin, Pete, Tatis, all these guys have better offensive seasons. Like their homers, they have similar homers, maybe more ribbies. Some guys are competing in the same stolen base department, but they're all extremely valuable with comparable offensive numbers. But Tatis also makes 10 starts. Does that then make him? Does that propel him?
You mean Shohei?
Yeah, Shohei then makes 10 starts. Does that then propel him to be number 1?
A little bit. I mean, dude, who pitches and hits anymore?
Exactly. So just in terms of being valuable.
Yeah, if he comes out and he pitches well those 10 starts, like I don't even care who they're against, and he's still hitting the shit out of the ball. Yeah, he moves up for me.
I don't even care if he pitches well. I've made this claim before, and it was like if Ohtani pitches and just pitches like a middle of the road starter, and then he hits like a average major league hitter, he still will get MVP votes and might even fucking win it. Just because if you talk about valuable, no one else is doing that. Now, granted, he'll probably hit better than just about everybody, and maybe he does pitch at a high level when he comes back. Then I think he has to. Then he hands down wins it. But right now, come May, I just do like all those other guys play the field and have comparable numbers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. With especially on the point that nobody's doing that. And that's just something that it deserves to get talked about. But right now, with him as a DH, he needs to be doing more in my eyes.
I agree. That was a good little segment. I hope that shakes the pot with some people though, because people look at Ohtani as like their glorious king.
I know, and listen. I'm a hater through and through. I'll admit it. I'm a hater. Like I love the Phillies. I love I'm a Philly scumbag spin.
Hey, Austin Riley could very well be on the list.
No, fuck Austin Riley. No. But I mean, listen, he could be, but I just think that's a little outlandish because the Braves suck.
That's true. Okay. Who goes yard today?
So
that hasn't already, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Who we got left?
Or should we do it for tomorrow?
No, there's plenty of games tonight.
We got a bunch of first game starts, or their first live game, our next live game starts at 6:45.
I think I've taken Kerry Carpenter before, but I think I might take him again.
Is he playing?
I hope so, man. He is in the lineup. Give me Kerry Carpenter.
I'm going off my fantasy team. And here's a guy that you need. Bryce Harper.
Guess what? Golden take wise, he's sitting at 241 right now after one game.
Let's hope he doesn't have an over. I have him going yard today. So you have Kerry Carpenter, I have Harper, pair of lefties.
Who what was your golden take?
It's not gonna hit.
What was it?
I needed the Yankees to strike out 30 times as a team.
Oh, and they had a good game.
They only struck out twice yesterday. They're at 11 total. So I need them to strike out 19 times today as a team.
I thought it was going to happen, especially with the pitching that the Padres were coming out with.
Michael King only struck out 2, and even the Padres bullpen is notoriously fantastic this year. And fuck, man, the Padres bullpen actually blew it yesterday for them.
Oh, one thing I guess since we're talking about the Padres, I should have brought this up earlier. Did you see Patrick Bailey stealing signs from Pivetta?
No, I don't think I did.
Dude, a
This
guy
would have been like last week, right?
it was I guess, but it was John Boy Media did a breakdown of it. They're awesome, by the way.
Love John Boy. Yeah.
He did a breakdown of it. When Pivetta was coming set, he like holds his glove like right here. So like Patrick Bailey was sitting on second, going like you could see him like leaning up and over, and then like doing stuff, giving signs to see the grip. And so it happened a couple times, and then the pitching coach actually called timeout, came out to the mound like, hey, this is what's going on. We're seeing this. So Pivetta then comes here, brings his glove down to get the grip, comes back up, pitches, strikes the dude out, turns around, and starts chirping Patrick Bailey.
Wow.
That's gas. That's a Cy Young right there. That's not that other guy blowing a fucking kiss to
Woods Richardson.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that. I did see earlier in the season someone was doing that to Berrios, and Berrios had words to say. It's weird, like that's totally legal, but pitchers don't take kindly to it.
Yeah. So do you think that's cheating, or you think that's just like an unwritten rule more?
It's not cheating. I mean, it's part of the game. You steal signs all the time.
Yeah.
Pitchers don't take kindly to it. I think they're also amped up and they're true competitors. You know, these are the best competitors in the world at the end of the day. So then they're like, oh, fuck, I have some words for you. I like it. I think it's a very baseball-y play, actually.
Maybe it was. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong team. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out when this happened. Because when did the Giants just play the Padres? It wasn't recently, was it?
I don't remember. It could have been earlier this season, but the breakdown was posted recently.
Yeah, maybe I saw a late video, but it was sick.
I do love that. I do love it. How about this? This is what we need.
Over 18.5 strikeouts.
I hate to root against. I'll never take it a golden take against the Yankees, but I was just so pissed off before. Well, they
came off that rough couple series, dude,
against division rivals, and they lost series against under 500 teams. So I was very pissed off at them. So I did that, wasn't in the right state of mind. I guess. Now, granted, they still could piss me off today.
No, what I was going to say, the worst thing in the world that's probably going to happen is they're going to strike out like 13 times today, and they're just going to piss you off.
No, the worst thing that could happen is they lose and don't strike out at all.
True.
But they got Fried today. Fried, I think, is like 6-0 or 5-0 or 6-0, whatever he is, and they're 7-0 in starts that he pitches.
Yes, do they not play tomorrow?
I would assume tomorrow's a travel day, but actually I can check. I do have it pulled up. Tomorrow's a travel day for them.
Damn. I was gonna say maybe you have some hope tomorrow if they strike out a lot today.
And they'll be in Oakland for the weekend.
Oh, good series. But we'll get into that Friday.
We'll get into that and more on Friday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sean is in the morning, in the evening. We'll see you Friday.